All right, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Day 2, welcome to Dreamforce. Anyone first time at Dreamforce here? Any first timers? Yay, a lot of you. Welcome. So this is day 2. Hope everyone's having a fabulous time. Hope you're learning about our new products, innovation, you're meeting other customers, maybe meeting with the product team. There's lots of after parties, so enjoy yourselves. This is a little bit of a deeper dive into Lightning Flow. It's a brand new product. I'm super excited to be here to show you, unveil a brand new product in Service Cloud called Lightning Flow for Service, and how you can use Lightning Flow for Service to supercharge and transform your customer support organization. Before we begin, though, I would like to extend a huge round of thank you to all of you, all of our customers, admins, partners, developers, the entire ecosystem. It's because of you and your continued investment in Service Cloud. You guys help shape the future of our products. So thank you once again. I will be making some forward-looking statements in the form of roadmaps, and I'm sure you guys have seen this slide a bunch by now. Make your purchasing decisions available on what's available in the product today, not what's coming out in the future. And with that, let me introduce myself. I am Kanan. I'm the product manager in Service Cloud. I own Lightning Flow for Service. I've been with Service Cloud for 3.5 years. I started my journey as a software engineer and then moved to product management. This is my second Dreamforce. And with me, I have a brilliant engineer on my team, Matt. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Matt Nielsen, and I'm a software engineer in Service Cloud. I've been with the company for the past 2 years.
Yay, welcome. Matt's first time Dreamforce?
First time speaking at Dreamforce,
Yes.
Second time attending.
Attending Dreamforce,
Yes.
Awesome.
Super excited.
Super excited. So there is a little bit of a flicker on the screen, so just bear with us. There's technicians coming after the presentation, after this one, to fix that. All right, with that, let's jump into our content. So today's customers expect a seamless experience, right? When I say customers, I mean you and I. All of us are modern consumers. All of us are modern consumers of the web, the mobile phone, smart devices, smart apps, and all of us have come to expect an in-the-moment, personalized, contextualized, intelligent service. 89% of the brands almost differentiate themselves based on customer service experience. Historically, it used to be the product. It used to be how you price your products. But in today's world, it is the way you serve your customers. Exceptional customer service equals brand loyalty. But what most people may not know is behind every seamless experience is a process. The process, let's take an example, right? If I have lost my credit card or I want to change my credit card, the process could be, has it expired? Is it damaged? Has it been stolen? If it's been stolen, would you like to dispute these transactions? If yes, then where can we send you your new card? All of this is a process. It could be simple, it could be complicated. And then what we've learned most is that simple or complicated, most companies face a huge challenge automating these processes. First, you have to integrate the data from multiple third-party systems. Then you've got to add process logic. Then you have to build a beautiful UI on top of it, and then you've got to embed it in your mobile channels, either your website, your portals, smart devices, mobile channels. Nothing about this is easy. It's challenging, frustrating, time-consuming. So then what are we doing at Salesforce? How are we helping you make this simple by automating your processes? So this year, we've introduced a brand new product on the platform called Lightning Flow. With Lightning Flow, it is a declarative process automation tool that's built right on top of Salesforce Process Engine. With Lightning Flows, you can create these beautiful guided experiences using reusable components. Lightning Flows also help you integrate with third-party systems. You could use Apex, you could use something called as Flow Actions, external services. So you can connect your Lightning Flow to your third-party systems in multiple ways. And then best of all, you can use these flows and embed them into any Salesforce experience, whether it is your console or your portal or even your website using Lightning Out. And if you're a customer, let's say you don't have the resources or the time to build out these flows, you can leapfrog the process. You can go to our App Exchange, go to Flow Solutions. There are pre-built packages already available for you to use, or you can use Lightning Bolts if you wanted to do that. But then let's come back to a service organization. All of you here are part of a customer support system, either as a leader or in some shape or form, you're helping out your customer support system. This problem gets even more elevated. This problem of like customers wanting in-the-moment service is really elevated in the customer support world, right? You've got agents. You want your agents to follow trusted processes. Yet you want to provide your customers delightful experiences. When I say follow trusted processes, what does that mean? Let's say you've got order new checks or close a bank account, open a bank account, claims processing. All of this is a process. You want all of your agents across the board to follow the same process. You don't want one agent doing it one way and the other agent goes and does it the other way, right? So support organizations want their agents, want their employees to follow trusted processes, at the same time provide delightful experiences. How are we bridging that gap? We're bridging that gap by a new product in Service Cloud called Lightning Flow for Service. And in the product, we've introduced a brand new component called the Guided Action List. The Guided Action List in the Service Console helps your agents. It gives them a menu of actions so that your agents can go into console. Once a case or a contact loads up, they can see a predefined set of flows that admins have configured that they can then use to solve, troubleshoot customer support requests. This ensures that all agents working in your console automatically follow your business processes. They're no longer going and updating case or contact details one by one. The process takes them through this. We also provide in-the-moment guidance. So sometimes it is seen, and a lot of customers want this, they want to auto-launch a certain flow based on a certain request. Let's say anyone over here use live agent chat, CTI providers. OK, a few of you. So the first thing when the chat comes in, you don't want the agent to directly go on the chat transcript. You want to auto-launch a process, maybe verify caller, maybe do some initial introduction. You can now do that with Lightning Flow for Service using an auto-launch setting. And then best of all, we've made it very, very, very easy for you to configure all of this right from Lightning Flow to the Guided Action List. And actually, Matt's going to show you this, all of this. This is a deeper dive, so we'll go into configuration. You'll see all of this in the form of a demo. And with that, actually, let us kick off by going into an end-to-end demo that Matt's going to run you through.
All right. Thank you so much, Kanan. I'm going to exit out of the PowerPoint here, and we will go over to the demo. OK, perfect. So our customer journey is going to start here in the Bright Financial self-service community. Our user, Katie Boyle, is here because she wants to apply for a new mortgage. Now, how many people here have applied for a loan or a mortgage of some type? Probably most of us. Not always the most fun experience. Can be kind of time-consuming, frustrating. You're not really sure what all the steps are. You want to make sure that your information is provided correctly. So Katie isn't really looking forward to this, but she is hopeful when she sees that there's a card here on our customer service community to apply for a loan. When she clicks on this card, she's brought to a guided screen flow that's embedded in our community. We have automatically filled in her customer details based on her contact information. So that's a little bit less work on her part just to get some of the basic information in there. Now, on the next screen, she sees a visual pick list of loan types that she can choose from. She chooses mortgage. And on the next screen, Katie notices that her progress through this flow is actually being tracked in this indicator at the top. This is something that we call flow stages. Flow stages is a really great technology because it relieves any confusion over what steps you've completed in your process, what step you're at right now, and how many more steps you have to complete it. The next screen of the flow has a YouTube video embedded in it. We're not actually going to watch the video, but this is to demonstrate some of the capabilities of Lightning Flow. Anything that you can do with Lightning components or JavaScript, you can do inside of a Lightning Flow. You're going to be seeing a few different examples of this throughout the demo where we do dynamic actions inside of the flow that help to automate your agent processes. Okay, Katie has finished up her loan application, and now she wants to get some help planning her estate. We're going to go back to the home page, and Katie doesn't see anything here that's going to help her plan her estate. But she does see that there's a button in the bottom right-hand corner to chat with a service agent. She comes over here to start her chat, fills in her information, and gets started with the chat request. Over here in the Lightning Service Console, we've automatically routed her chat request to our service agent using Omnichannel. Now, let's take a second here and talk about where we were and where we are now. We came from a customer self-service community as our end user, Katie Boyle. Now we are in the Lightning Service Console as our customer service agent. The Lightning Service Console is the 360-degree view of the customer. This is where you're going to be seeing all that great information about them right there at your agent's fingertips. In addition, we have the guided action list on our page. This is the component that Kanan was highlighting. This is the core of Lightning Flow for Service. It's where our agents can add flows to the action list as a to-do list, and they can also see what has automatically been added there based on contextual information. Okay, let's go back to the chat, and we're going to engage with Katie. Hi, how can I help you? And here she says, I need to plan my estate. Okay, let's see if the action list can help our agent plan Katie's estate. Here, when we click the Add button, there's a list of flows that we can choose from. We see an estate planning flow, and again, we're met with this visual guided engagement. Also, I want to call out that we have a call script component. This script component has a copy to clipboard button, which makes it really easy for our agent to engage through chats and emails. So I just paste the question in and ask Katie if she owns a house, automobile, or watercraft, and we select house. On the next screen, we're going to input some of Katie's financial status information. Again, our status in the flow is being tracked by flow stages. And now, at this point, Katie needs to take a call from her manager, so we're going to pause this flow and come back to it later. The great thing about flows is that we can pause them and resume them at a later date. This allows our service agent to maintain a consistent experience across various service channels. Let's go ahead and end this chat.
Usually what we've always seen is you call in, you go halfway through the process, and then you get disconnected, or you have to run for an errand, and then you call back in, and then all of that information is lost. You have to go through this whole thing again. But with a flow, all of that information is actually preserved and ready to be resumed by the agents.
Exactly, Kanan. Now, a few hours has passed. Katie is ready to resume her estate planning process, and she calls back in through our phone channel. And I think a few of you were using the OpenCTI technology in Salesforce. OpenCTI is our API to integrate with third-party telephony providers such as Cisco. And we have a great new capability. You can see here we've popped directly from OpenCTI to a flow. Now, the reason I want to call this out is because prior to Lightning Flow for Service, you would have to do all of this using custom code, such as Visualforce pages and Lightning components. This flow that we've popped to has been done completely without any custom code. You can put custom code in there if you want to, but we didn't have to do that, which makes setting this up super easy. Let's go ahead and verify Katie's information. Input her social security number. And now she has been verified by our system, and we can open up her contact record. This is another example of where you can do super powerful things inside of a Lightning flow. We've popped directly from that flow, which didn't have any record information to start with, but was able to gain access to her customer record and navigate us in the service console to that record. Now, on this page, we can see that the paused flow is right here, estate planning, and it's ready to be resumed. Let's resume that flow. We're exactly where we left off. Katie is going to choose our Bright Preferred Estate Plan, and she's all set.
You can also see that agents tracking the stages in the guided action list themselves. They have all the stages available for them in the action list, so they know as they're going how many stages are available, how many they've completed so far.
Exactly. Now, we've completed the estate planning flow, and Katie has been given a recommendation from our Einstein artificial intelligence technology. The agent now sees that we've dynamically showed this recommendation that she enroll in a 529 college savings plan. This is one of the really powerful features of Lightning Flow for Service because we can give contextual strategic advice to our agents so that they can upsell or provide better recommendations for their customers on the fly. When we click on the college savings plan, it's automatically launched for us in the guided action list. You can see it showing up right here, and we can go through that with Katie. Okay, we've completed the college savings plan. Now we have one more step. We have a mandatory customer satisfaction survey. It has been pinned to the bottom of the list. This means that the service agent will see it last, and they should execute it last. It's also marked with a red asterisk to indicate that this is a mandatory step. Just like when you're going through a form on the internet and you can see that little red asterisk, it's just like this. Okay, now again, the stages are actually showing up here in the action list, so you can see it in your flow and in the action list. It's pretty configurable that way. All right, Katie was really happy with the service we provide for her today, so we get 10 out of 10 on those scores. And now we're done getting her feedback. So now all of the actions in the list have been marked as completed. We're almost done with our customer interaction. We've helped Katie solve her issues, and now our service agent supervisor wants to ensure that they have been going through the proper steps to help solve those customer issues. We have a tab in the action list called History. This is where you can see what steps have been taken at what time by whom. All right, let's take a look here. So we've started the college savings plan. We've completed it. We've started and completed the CSAT survey. This is great for our agents if they want to see where they have gone from. There's no confusion about what has been done to help that customer. Same for their supervisors. All right, that's the end-to-end demo. I'm going to hand it over to Kana, and she's going to talk a little bit about configuring this great product.
Awesome. How did you guys like the demo? Yeah? I think this is really transformative. Whatever we've heard from our customers, we've usually seen things like, I was halfway through the process and then the call dropped. Now the agent has no way. Even on the agent side, we were able to provide them step-by-step guidance. You saw the call script. Usually, you spend all this time onboarding your agent, and then you put them in front of a customer, and all of a sudden, they don't know what to do. So with the call script, you can really guide your agents in the moment, guide them what they need to say if they're new. So this is just a few of the demo highlights. We started off with a Lightning Flow in the community. So like I said, you build your flow once, you can embed it in any service channel, any Salesforce channel. We embedded that in the community. Then we started chat using our Snap-in's chat product. We brought that into the service console. We used the guided action list to show agent what actions they had to take from start to finish. Then we showed the Lightning Flow in the console. We even showed you Einstein Next Best Action. That recommendation for the college savings plan was triggered by an Einstein Next Best Action. And then CTI pop to flow. Usually this is done using a lot of visual force. We've heard it's extremely painful. Now you can screen pop to a flow. And then last but not least, we ended up with the mandatory flow, the CSAT survey. The agent knows in the guided action list what is the last step for him to take, and he was able to do that. So that is the whole end-to-end demo. All right, so if there's one thing I want you all to take away from this presentation, it's this one slide. We are moving from a static experience, from a static manual field update on the record experience to a more flow-based, guided experience, more visual, more process-centric, that's contextualized around the customer's record. No more, I get a call, I go to the case, and I see 100 fields, right? This is typically what happens. I see 100 fields, and I need to go and update those 100 fields. We're moving away from that. We're bringing your visual processes directly into the console in front of your agents. This is probably the biggest takeaway from this session. And then, of course, we've seen benefits right across the board. Your customer is happy because they were serviced in the moment. So Katie not only got to apply for a loan, she also managed to set up an estate plan, but also set up a college plan. Matt is happy, the agent's happy because he was able to help the customer, and then obviously the brand, the customer is happy because not only did the agent follow all the trusted processes, they were also able to provide delightful experiences. So how did we set all of this up? Like, how do you go and configure this? If any new admins or any admins in the room? All right, cool. So you're all probably wondering, how do you go back into your orgs and start setting this up? I call this slide as my 3 steps to providing automated, guided customer support. First step, you need to identify which process in your org needs automation. So identify, is it claims processing? Is it ordering new checks? Is it opening a bank account, closing a bank account? Once you've identified your step, go build it. Use our Lightning Flow product. So go to the Cloud Flow Designer. We're actually moving that to a new flow builder that's coming out in Lightning. That'll be coming out in spring. But you can go right now to Cloud Flow Designer, build out your Lightning Flow. And then secondly, link it. Link those flows to your record. So let's say you've built 10 flows. That's great. How does a service agent get them into the case or get them into the contact? You need to somehow provide them, launch them, link them to the customer record. That's another setting, and we'll go into that, how we set that up. And third thing, you need to launch it. So embed the guided action list onto your record homepage. It could be a contact, it could be case, it could be a custom object. We support the guided action list on a lot of objects. So build, link, launch. The first step, going to the Lightning Flow. You can build out the Lightning Flow in the Cloud Flow Designer. Second step, you link it. You can use 2 ways to link your flows to your records. It's either through Process Builder. Now, Process Builder is a very dynamic tool. It's trigger-based, it's criteria-based. So you can say, if case is a new status, I want to link these 4 flows to the case record. If case is an escalated status, I want to link these other 3 flows to the case record. You can use the Process Builder to do that. However, if you want a more static experience that anytime a chat request comes in, I just want to statically show these 4 actions, these 4 flows, no matter what the criteria is, you can go through Lightning App Builder and set that up. We're going to show that in a demo, don't worry. And step 3, launch it. So you need to drag and drop the guided action list on your record home before agents can see it. So build, link, launch. And with that, let's actually get into the demo.
All right, thank you, Kanan. The good news is that Lightning Flow for Service is actually really easy to set up. So I'm going to go over to our setup app, and we're going to get started to show you some of these crucial steps. First, we're going to go to the Cloud Flow Designer. The Cloud Flow Designer is where you're going to be building out your flows. Let's take a look at the estate planning flow that we went through during the demo. First thing I want to do is call out the fact that Cloud Flow Designer looks a little bit outdated. It's actually built in Flash. As some of you may know, Flash is kind of going the way of the dinosaur. So next release, we're going to be giving Lightning Flow Designer a whole facelift. It's going to be rebuilt in Lightning components. That's going to make it a whole lot prettier, and it's going to be an easier building experience. But for now, let's take a look at what we have. So first thing, we have the screen element. This is where you're going to be defining your visual elements that the agent sees or your end customer sees. All you have to do is drag and drop that onto the screen, and from there you can drag and drop different inputs or Lightning components onto your flow screens, and then go ahead and configure them. So it just takes a couple of minutes, not too hard. Then you've got flow stages. We've assigned different stages to each one of these screens. This is the way that we are tracking the progress through the flow. You can also have branching and logic inside of the flow, and that can be done inside the Cloud Flow Designer. Next, you have record updates, creations, deletions. You can do that inside of your flow. This saves your agent a lot of time. This is the core of our process automation inside of Salesforce. Our record data is super important to us, so it totally makes sense that we could update our records on the fly as we go through a flow. Now, you've updated a record. You want to show that dynamically to the agent. How do you do that without having them manually refresh the page? Well, we actually have some custom code in this flow called a local action. That's right here. So when the agent updates that record through the flow, it automatically shows that update to them dynamically on their screen. OK, as you can see, we have a ton of great functionality inside of Lightning Flows. And this is pretty easy to get set up. You can just do drag and drop, or you can write your own custom code as well. Yep. Next, let's go over to Lightning App Builder. Lightning App Builder is where you can add the action list component onto your flow, onto your record pages. Let's go ahead and edit that page that we were looking at for the Katie Boyle contact record. Here, you can see in the top left-hand corner, we have the action list component. All you have to do is drag and drop that from the list onto your page. Once you've done that, you can configure a few different settings for the action list. First thing is channel settings. Channel settings is where you can define a list of defaults to show to your agent. This is really simple, and this is sort of your defaults. If you don't want to go through Process Builder, if you don't want to write any custom code, this is your place to go. This is for your accidental admins or just your basic use cases. For example, we can load defaults for chats, phone calls, and other being like a list view if you just clicked on the record from a list. OK, for our phone channel, we want to automatically launch the first flow in the list. So we're going to check the auto launch feature. We have 3 different areas of the action list: top pinned, unpinned, and bottom pinned. When our call comes in, the first thing we want to do is verify the caller's identity. So we put that in the top pinned region. The last step we want to do is our customer satisfaction survey. That means it's always going to be shown at the bottom of the list. It will be executed last by the agent. In the middle, we can just put any other flows that might be popular. For example, college savings plans. We have a lot of people who really want to go through that flow. Instead of having the agent add that manually, we can add that in right there for them. OK, one more step here for configuring the action list. That's guided action settings. You might have a lot of flows in your org. Some companies have hundreds or thousands. You don't want to show all of that to your agent in that action picker. That'd be super confusing. They'd have to scroll through a huge list. So you can configure a whitelist here to show for particular records. For example, I may want to show the college savings plan flow, so I'm going to check that off. I may want to show the unknown caller flow, check that off. I don't want to show estate planning, I uncheck that. All you have to do, check the boxes, just takes a couple of minutes.
This impacts the add. So when you add it, if you cancel out of this now.
Sure.
So when you go to add in that action list, when the agent, it's the actions that the agent see over here is configured using guided action settings. You don't want them to show all the 1,000 flows in your org. If you just want to maintain a certain set, then you go to guided action settings, and you can filter out unwanted flows.
Exactly. All right, let's go on to Process Builder. We're going to take a look at some of our more dynamic processes. In Process Builder, we can use database operations to trigger the addition of flows to records. I have a process here called add flow to case. In this use case, we want to add the customer satisfaction survey to our record page when the case is escalated. First, we select the case object when this record is created. You can also do it when it's edited. And the status is escalated. We're going to create a record action. Record action is a junction object between records and flows. In this example, the flow is customer satisfaction survey, so the action field is CSAT survey. The parent record is the case that we just created. We're going to mark this as a mandatory step, and we're going to pin it to the bottom. Those fields can just be configured in a couple of minutes here in Process Builder. Now, let's take a look at this process in action. I'm going to come over here to my case layout. I'm going to create a new case, escalated case. select the escalated status, click Save, and now this case has been created. We can see the customer satisfaction survey has been added to that case page. It's mandatory. We have that red asterisk. That means that if we try to close out, it's going to give us a warning first, and it's pinned to the bottom of the list. Super powerful technology there with Process Builder.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd just like to reiterate, if you're looking for dynamically updating the action list, head on over to the Process Builder. If you just want a static default list, use the channel settings in Lightning App Builder. So those are the two big differences.
Exactly. We just have one more step for setting up Lightning Flow for Service, and that is our OpenCTI configuration. This is just a couple of fields that you can edit. Here in the soft phone layout, we have two settings that I want to call out. That is no match calls and single match calls. A no match call is when a phone call comes in and your phone system cannot identify a record in your Salesforce system for that caller. In that case, we want to pop the verify caller flow, just like we did during the demo. All you have to do is select that flow from a pick list of the flows that you've built in your org. Next, single match record. This is when your system is able to correctly identify that you have a matching record inside of Salesforce. For this, we want to pop the detail page. OK, that's all you have to do to set up OpenCTI. Really straightforward. And I hope you guys are excited about Lightning Flow for Service. I'm going to be handing this back to Kanan. She has just a few more items about roadmap, get you guys excited about our upcoming releases. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. OK, let's look at best practices. So these are some of the best practices we do recommend for using guided action list. There's two sections, as Matt pointed out. There's the pinned regions. There's the top pin, bottom pin. Use them if you have these pinned flows. If you want your agents to do some things right at the very beginning, pin them to the top. If you want them to do it towards the end, like CSAT, sending out surveys, generating some customer report, do that towards the end. So use your pinned regions to do that. And then we've introduced a new template for your record homes. It's got pinned templates. We ideally want the guided action list to sit on a pinned layout. So you'd want to use a left or right pin layout so that the flow opens up in the middle and the guided action list is still available for the agents to see. So use a pinned layout when you're using the guided action list. That's what we'd recommend. And then some common gotchas. This has come up over and over again. If you use the guided action list, let's say on a case record, usually you want the flow to get the parent record's ID. To do that, you want to create an input variable of type text inside the flow. So that automatically passes the case's record ID into the flow, and you can use the case record as the flow is proceeding. So usually people forget to create this input variable, and then they don't know how the flow interacts with the parent record. So please create that input variable if you want to associate flow with the parent record. Second thing, you need to give your users run flow permissions. If you don't give your agents or that profile run flow permissions, they will not be able to run flows. So make sure you have that when they come to the guided action list. And to take you through OpenCTI and channel settings, I'm going to hand that back to Matt.
OK. So we were just going over some of our OpenCTI settings. We have two different settings that I want to call out. First is in the Lightning App Builder, when we're drag and dropping flows into those default settings. That's going to be invoked when you pop to the detail page. That's your single match use case. Your no match use case is what we really talked about in the soft phone layout. That's when you're popping a flow that's not associated to any record. That's just going to pop as a full page in your Lightning console for your agent to go through. We've had a few people get confused about this, so it's just important to call out. One of them is for the no match case. One is for the single match case. That's pretty much all you got to know.
With that, let's jump into our roadmap. So I've divided this into three sections: what's happening on the platform at the Lightning Flow level. We've got the Lightning Flow Builder that's in pilot with Winter 19. You've also got Einstein Next Best Actions that is pilot Winter 19. We're going to GA them in spring. We've got on the guided action list side, we've got guided action histories, what we introduced for winter 19. We added support for mandatory flows. And then if you're looking at flows and digital engagement in the bots, live message, in the Service Cloud space, you can now launch a headless flow. A headless flow is something that does not have screens from a bot. So if you're using Einstein bots, not sure how many of you are, but if you're interested, you can now launch a flow from a bot, a headless flow from a bot. In spring 19, we're going to launch both our flow builder and Einstein Next Best Actions. We're going to take them to GA. On the guided action list side, we're going to make guided action list your one-stop shop for all of flow management. So right now, you saw two components. One's the guided action list, and one was an NBA component. We're trying to condense both of this into one single component, so you see your recommendations in line in the guided action list. You don't need two components for that. We're also introducing auto refresh of the guided action list, which means, let's say a customer or an agent updated the case status from new to escalated. We want to automatically refresh the guided action list so you don't have to refresh the entire page. It should be automatically refreshed. And then we're also piloting this. We're going to allow you to embed flows on your website using snap-ins. Currently, flows, you can do that today using Lightning Out, but we're going to make it very easy and declarative using our snap-ins product to just embed a flow directly on your website. You don't need to stand up a community portal. If you wanted to, let's say, have open bank account on your own website, you could do that using snap-ins. Longer term, we're going to keep investing in our flow builder, our new Lightning Flow Builder. For guided action lists, we're going to add support for ordering, which means, let's say today in the guided action list, we do show you 5 guided actions, but agents could run them in any order. We want to enforce ordering, which means I want you to run a credit score before you open a bank account, and then I want you to take your CSAT survey, so we want to enforce ordering in the action list. Also, add support for folders. That means when you add and open that action picker, it's a flat list of all flows and quick actions. We want to add in foldering. Also support for quick actions. So we don't just want this guided action list to support only flows, but also quick actions and other action types in the future. And then again, lastly, flow and digital engagement. Embedding flows was pilot, will be pilot in spring. We're going to demo that or GA that later on in the year. Hopefully put flows in your bots. If you're using a bot or a live message channel and the bot has realized you need to order new checks, it could just embed the flow directly in the bot conversation without having to pass you back to an agent. So lots of good stuff coming up with flow and how flows are interacting with the service console, but also our digital engagement channels. And then if you're interested in learning more about flows, we've got a ton of sessions, campfire workshops, all of that happening. I would recommend going to the campfire workshop. They're happening in the Marriott Marquis Golden Gate room. Yes, so they're in the Marriott Marquis Golden Gate room. They're showing you how to build flows from scratch. You'll learn a lot, so please go attend those workshops. There's an Einstein Next Best Action session tomorrow at 4:30 p.m., so attend that if you're interested in Next Best Action. And then, of course, we've got our Service Cloud keynote, so come attend our Service Cloud keynote at 11 p.m. tomorrow. And you're all developers. Go check out the developer keynote as well that's happening. So lots of sessions, lots of good stuff, Service Cloud, developer sessions. And with that, we've about 1 minute to go. I'm ready to take any Q&A if you have any, or we can even step outside the room if you have questions after the session. But thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed and learned a lot.